All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to All Things Undone. I am your host, Granny She Is. And on this show, we talk about life after divorce and how to move forward successfully. Now, before I get into all the things we're going to say today, I do need to give a disclaimer. This particular show will have explicit content. So, if that is not your cup of tea, we're going to ask that you skip this show and check us out next week. Or if you do want to watch it and you have children in the room, put on some headphones or something because this content is explicit. Some of the things we're talking about is for adult ears only, not for children. Okay. Adults only. And I know they say adults start at 18. And if you're 18, God bless you. 25 and up for me, please. 25 and up. So let me start by saying that first. And before I introduce my guest, I do want to say to everyone who has a daughter today, Happy National Daughters Day. Happy National Daughters Day. And to my three beautiful queens, Riviera, Dejana, and Micaiah, happy Daughters Day. I am so glad that God allowed you to come out of the spirit world and walk this 3D journey with me. Your mom is so proud of y'all. Thank you all so much. Happy Daughters Day. Now, to my guest, she is Deborah Maynard Booth. She goes by she, her. She is a certified sexual education facilitator. Okay. So this is definitely the one you want to ask your questions on. And we have so many things to talk about. The name of this show, of course, is Out of the Box with Deb Maynard. And she is a unicorn. And I am going to allow her to introduce herself in her own way. So, Deb, the floor is yours. Welcome to All Things Undone Podcast. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you. So, like Shell said, I am a sexual health facilitator. I do a lot of different counselings. I do parties. I'm also a pure romance consultant. So I will be able to talk to you about different products that we have with pure romance. But I also teach different classes. I'm certified in kindergarten all the way to adult. Each one of those age groups, we do have age appropriate materials, but we have different curriculum books that we use. For instance, a lot of what we use is Our Whole Lives. It's a sexuality education curriculum that we use. Like this one is for grades 4 through 6, and then I have middle school, high school, young adults, and then like I said, I also have the kindergarten through 3rd grade as well. So I teach all kinds of sexuality education classes. So I answer a lot of different questions for a lot of different age groups. So
And I am
I'm
so
happy to
glad
be
you
here.
do because it's a hot topic or it's a triggering topic for some parents because of course they don't want to introduce any type of sexual themes to their children, but from a psychological standpoint and just going through the phases of growth as children, if anyone's ever had that book, well, I had it with my kids, where it shows you the different stages that a child goes through, they begin to have questions about their own body pretty early on in life, and it is a way for you to explain it
Yeah.
without. Hi, Courtney. Welcome. And I see my cousin Portia is watching. Welcome, Portia. Um, yeah, so let's start there. I know we got a lot to cover, you guys, but I do want to start there. So, how do you handle those sensitive subjects with parents who want you to educate their children that are under the age of 12 or under the age of 16, per se? How do you handle that?
So I have a class that I usually do at um, the Unitarian Universalist Church here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where I live, and
Okay.
we have a secular curriculum as well as a non-secular curriculum. There's like a couple questions that you can ask that
Mhm.
are religious based, but most of the curriculum that we do is can be taught at any schools. It's just that schools don't usually allow me to come in because they're just not quite open to understanding it yet.
Right.
But it's with every class that I teach, I have a parent orientation first and foremost. That's the
Okay.
very first thing that I do is I meet with the parents. I
Mhm.
go over what it is that I'm going to be going over with their kids so that they know exactly what's in the curriculum, so they
Right.
understand what it is that I'm going to be saying. And then I also explain that I'm not here to take their place. I'm here because a lot of us, when we grew up, we did not have that education. We didn't get to ask all of those questions and find out what the answers are, especially for age appropriate questions. You just never
Right.
know what age you're supposed to be able to introduce different things and what your kids
Mhm.
can really handle or what they can't handle. So I'm here to help out to say that, um, I'm I'm going to give you all of the tools that you
Mhm.
need as parents. So when I teach the class, after the class
Mhm.
is over, I send home like some information for the parents, and the
Mhm.
parents can then ask follow-up questions so they can continue that conversation,
Right.
so that they know what it is that they can be able to say to the kid.
And I love it because every parent, at least I got it all three times with every one of my girls when they hit about, I don't even know, 4 or 5, where do babies come from?
Yeah,
Especially the oldest one when I got pregnant with the second one. And she wanted to know how that baby got in my belly.
yep,
And it's a really, really, I think it's a smart question to ask because the other day, you didn't have a stomach, mommy, and now your stomach's growing. How did that thing get in there? And it's always difficult to explain to a child that,
yes,
and I don't like introducing lying. So I explained it to
right.
my kids as best I could without saying, well, the stork brought it, because that's a lie. And now I'm teaching my child how to lie.
Yep. Yep,
So,
exactly. Exactly. You don't want to do that. Well, and there are children's books. And I didn't grab that one to bring down, but there are children's books that are out there that also help out as well, that are age appropriate for
mm,
each different group. But my kindergarten class, what we go over with them
mhm.
is we go over the different body parts because we
Okay.
want them to understand that that everybody, that boys have two eyes and girls have two eyes, and boys
Mhm.
have two hands and girls have
Right.
two hands, and boys have a penis and girls have a clitoris, so that they can understand the different body parts
Mhm.
and be able to use the correct language.
Right.
Because if you start calling them different things, you don't know what they're referring to, and they
Very
say,
true.
well, when when somebody says, "Well, they touched my thingy." Well, what thingy? You got a lot of thingies. Where? What did they touch?
Mhm.
So we give them the tools to be able to know the right words to use, and then we talk to them about what are the parts that are just for them.
Right.
That
Mhm.
don't let other people see these. That are
Right.
not your doctor or your parent, and that kind of helps them to understand what is private and what is not. you
Very
know
good.
we, and we talk about, there are some things that you talk about at home that you don't talk about out in public.
Right.
you know so we go over that, and then we also talk to them about consent. As
Mm.
young as kindergarten, we
Right.
talk about consent, because we want, and like I said, I absolutely talk to the
Mhm.
parents first, because I
Right.
want the parents to understand that if Jimmy does not want to hug Aunt Ruth, do not make him.
That's right.
If he does not want to, because you are teaching him that
Mhm.
if an adult tells you you have to do it, you have
Right.
to do it. And
Mhm.
we teach them to ignore their own feelings. And we don't want to do that. We want them to understand that their body is theirs
That's
and they
right.
have the right to say no. And we teach them at an early age, because if you say the other way, when you say,
Mhm.
no, you have to hug Aunt Ruth, you're
Mhm.
actually teaching them that later on in life, when
Mhm.
their uncle Bob wants to touch them in places that are inappropriate,
That's right.
it's one of their adult relatives,
Thank
and
you,
they think,
Randy.
okay, I
Mhm.
have to do it because they told me that I have to do it because they're a relative. I have to go against what I
Thank you,
feel.
Courtney. Hmm.
Yeah, and we don't want them to go there. So we start off right away with consent, that
Hmm.
my body is my body, your body is your body, and you have the right over who touches you and how you're touched.
I love
So
it. Now, if you all are just joining, I hope you all caught that part because it's really important about when we're teaching our young ones about what's important on their bodies, what can be touched and what can't be touched. A funny story, and this goes back to the word clitoris. I did not hear that word for the first time until I was about 12 years old. And it was from a cousin who grew up in California. Her mom and dad, her stepdad, which was my uncle, were in the military. She's a very, very brilliant young girl. And when she came down, I think she had to be 9 or 10. And we were talking, and I think one of my cousins said like a slang word for your private part. And then she was like, actually, it's a vagina. And you have a urethra that you pee out of, and you also have clitoris. And she said it in such a matter of fact way. We were all offended. And we was like, you don't know what you're talking about. And she said, yes, I do, because my mom bought me a book about it. And this is what it said. And my grandmom came in there and she shut the entire conversation down because you didn't say words like clitoris and vagina. Like you did not, those were dirty words and you didn't say that. So that was the first time I had ever even heard the word. 12 years old I was.
wow.
The first time I ever even heard that word. And I know I'm not the only one with that experience. Hats off to my cousin, by the way, because let me tell you, she was very, very in tune with her body. Grew up to be a career woman, um, doing very, very well for herself even today. So it just set the tone. It set the tone for her life. So we need to do that for our kids. Now we're going to move on to the next topic. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background on Deb. Deb and we started working together back in 2013 on a contract, on a governmental contract together. And we worked together for nearly a decade. And I learned a lot about Deb. And I'm glad I did because coming from a small town, we don't get enough exposure to people who are unique. And she is indeed unique. She's the first person I ever met that openly said that she practices Wicca. So I was like, okay, tell me about that because that's new to me. Because all we know about Wicca, all we know about that is Halloween and witches. We don't know anything beyond that. And I know that that's really limited in our education on it, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. That way you can kind of have a background for where Deb is coming from. And if you all caught the show last week and you saw her comments, you also know that as far as her sexuality goes, she's very fluid. But I don't want to speak for her. So we're going to cover one at a time. Do you mind delving a little bit into the Wiccan religion, what it's about, and the misconceptions that people have about it?
Sure, sure.
Thank
So
you.
so um I am a pagan high priestess, and I am also a Cabot witch. So a lot of people, Wicca, witchcraft, and paganism are all similar but all different. There's
Mhm.
there's nuances to each
Mhm.
one. So paganism is like the overall umbrella term.
Mhm.
So Christianity is the overall umbrella term. Paganism is the umbrella term for all things that are not Christian. Didn't say anti, I said
Right.
not. We're not against Christianity. Saying that right off the bat. Um, and then under paganism, we have Wicca, we have witchcraft, we have um, Taoism, we have Hinduism, we have Buddhism. Those all kind of fall under
Mhm.
that umbrella terminology.
Mhm.
But then there's all different kinds of witches and all different kinds of paths for the Wicca path as well. So if I can try and narrow that down, um, I studied under Raymond Buckland, who is like, he's like the, he's very ritualistic when it comes to how to do things, very much like Catholicism. In the
Right.
Catholic faith, there's a very ritual way of doing things. There are things that you say, there are times that you stand, sit, kneel.
Right.
There are specific things that you have to do. For Raymond Buckland, for his path,
Mhm.
there are very specific things that you have to do.
Okay.
It's very strict. Then there is the path of Wicca that is under Scott Cunningham.
Okay.
Scott Cunningham introduced the idea of Wicca um, down from Gerald Garner. It's a whole
Mhm.
history thing. I won't go into it. But
Yeah,
but
right.
Scott, but Scott Cunningham is very laid back. The way that he does things is
Mhm.
just, you know, nature is your church, and whatever you do, whatever you say that feels right to you, you just do that. It's very, very laid back. And it's just the whole idea that you can, when you talk to the
Mhm.
divine, you send out your intent. Um, and the rituals that we do are
Mhm.
just like prayer,
Right.
where we say this is our sacred space, like this is our
Mhm.
church, this is our
Mhm.
sacred space. And then we call to the divine, and we ask the divine to be with us in our sacred space.
Right.
And then we say what it is that we want, like a prayer. We say what our intention is, what we hope for, and we send out that intent. We call to the divine and tell the divine what it is that we want to happen.
Like a
Um,
manifestation.
yes, exactly. Just
Okay,
like
got
in
it.
prayer, we send that
Mhm.
up, and then we thank the divine for being there, for being in the sacred space,
Mhm.
and then turning the sacred space back to mundane, and that's really it. So um,
Mhm.
yeah, so it's a lot like prayer. It's just different words and different
Mhm.
rituals, different things of doing, different ways of doing things.
Yeah, I
Um,
think, thank you. I think like so you said paganism, and a common word that people hear now instead of paganism is spirituality. You
yes.
see people that say spiritual, and that doesn't mean they don't have a concept of God. They do have a concept of God. They have a concept of a higher being, of a divine being, of Gaia. It's different names for it. And Taoism falls under that. It's on the spirituality side of it, and that's kind of where I'm trending towards in my personal life. Um, is Taoism. It's all about balance, in connecting with the source, which is God, you know.
Yes.
So that's kind of where I am on my personal journey. And the reason I wanted her to go into what she practices spiritually is because we all need to learn that you have to go with where your spirit is telling you to go, is leading you to go. Sometimes we buck against what our mind tells us because of what we've been taught. Now, listen, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. If Jesus is your only Lord and Savior, by all means, you have a right, as I said in the beginning of the video, to click off of this particular one. All right, so Randy Glover says, are spells a real thing or a stereotype that was created by people who do not understand Wicca? Good question,
Yep.
Deb.
Yep. Spells are just like prayers. Um, spells. So you see in movies, and you see, where they're throwing all kinds of different things together, and they're they're making all kinds of different potions and things like that. Well, um, we have kitchen witches
Mhm.
that make, um, just like you would
Thank you, Daphne.
make a dish to eat. It's, you make something, but in it you put the intent of peace or the intent of love. So you put the energy of your intention into that
Mhm.
recipe that you're making. Or if you are not doing kitchen witchery, we also have where we do different herbs and things where we
Mm,
combine different herbs together that like cinnamon is for love, or we burn sage for purification, or
mhm,
um, the we burn. I'm trying to think of dragon's blood incense is also a
mhm,
purification. So it's a matter of when you go in for a massage and they ask you if you want to have like different scented oils,
mhm,
because those different scents um, give you different, stimulate different things in your senses,
mhm.
or different touch, stimulate different things with your senses. Same sort of thing, you
Okay.
know. And the different stones that we use, different crystals, those
Mhm,
each have different properties because everything is made up of energy. And so those different stones give away certain energy signatures. And so if you are doing something where you want to protect someone, you
mhm.
would get like a hematite ring, and then you would put in your intention. You'd pray over it. You'd do a spell over it. You'd say something for intent. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Clear quartz to clear
hematite.
the negative energy, right?
Yes, exactly. You put in those intentions, and then you give that to them, and so it's blessed, it's
Mhm.
charmed with that energy.
Thank you. And to make it more relatable, uh, in the Bible, there's a scripture that says there's life and death uh, in the power of your tongue. So believe it or not, the very words we speak can put a spell on someone. For example, say you have a child that loves to sing. They love to sing. They singing all over the house. They got a beautiful voice. But one day you come home, and I read this in a book. You come home one day and you got a headache. Your headache is killing you. And it's not that the child doesn't sound beautiful. They sound beautiful as normal. But you say to them in your frustration, would you shut that noise up? I have a headache. To the child, what they heard was, your singing is ugly and it's giving me a headache. Now, this child with this beautiful voice stops singing around the house because your words, she believed them in her mind. You have now created a spell. There is life and death in your tongue. It is a spell. Now, people use it, different words for it, but that is indeed a spell. We put spells on ourselves, limiting beliefs.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Because we say to ourselves, I can't climb that mountain over there. There's no way I can climb that mountain. And because you've already set that intent, that intention in your mind, you absolutely cannot climb that mountain because you've already told yourself that. And if you all follow the Bible, Jesus even said, if you say to that mountain over there, be thou removed into the sea, it shall be removed into the sea.
Yes.
But you have to set your intention to make it so. And that takes some practice because we've grown up to be institutionalized. We go to school, we learn the same thing, we say the same thing, we do the same rote. Even nowadays, kids have to dress exactly the same in school. We didn't have that, thank goodness. I got to wear what I wanted to at school. At least I had that part of individuality. But hopefully that explains it a little better. You got to be careful spiritually because we all have energy. We possess negative and positive energy, or you can call it male, masculine, and feminine energies that we embody in ourselves. Some people call it a spirit, some people call it a soul, some people call it your intellect, your psyche. What else is it called? We have different terms for the same thing, basically. So yes, thank you, Dylan, for that question. That was amazing. So that's that, and I do want to highlight one of the holidays in Wicca because it just passed, and that's Mabon. I hope I'm saying that right.
Maven. Maven.
Maven.
Hmm.
Explain Maven to us a little bit, and then we're going to go to break.
Sure. So Maven is the fall equinox.
Mhm,
Um, it is the time of year when you have equal light and equal darkness.
mhm,
So if you were right on the equator, you would have exactly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness.
mhm,
Now, of course, we're not right on the equator, so as you move up, it's a little bit later. So on the 23rd of September, it was equal on the equator probably now, I would say it's probably going to be equal around where we are. But it also means that it is the balance of our lives. So we want to look at what are the blessings that we have been given over this last year, and what are the things that we can give up that have been harsh or negative in our lives. We want to find that balance to be able to go to move into that darkness, because during the dark season, it gets darker and darker. The days get shorter and shorter, and then I tend to run into a depressive state. And so we want to prepare ourselves before we get into that. So Maven is a time, it's our version of Thanksgiving, where we give thanks for all the blessings that we've been given, and we look at what is it that we have been holding on to that we really shouldn't be anymore. There's things that have been holding us back and we need to let go of, so that when we go into the season of darkness, we can still hold on to those blessings.
Very true. And see, here's the crazy part. And people, I say this every year. I say this all the time when I went to church. Christianity overlaps with paganism for every holiday. Okay.
Yeah.
For every holiday, it overlaps. Some of the traditions we have in traditional Thanksgiving, it coincides with autumnal solstice. Same with Christmas, Yule, and winter solstice. Some of the practices we have with the Christmas tree and all these different things, they are rooted in spirituality, in particular bits and pieces that have been taken from different cultural tribes and incorporated into Christianity. Because you got to remember, America is built on not a really good history. You had slaves coming over, not only slaves, but you had the Indians and their practices, Native Americans and their practices. You had slaves that came over with our traditional practices. And you had some people, they were called bond servants more so than slaves, but there were other Caucasians that were brought to America, bond servants, who brought their culture, their religion, their things over here too. And it all got rolled into one big ball. So before anyone gets too judgmental in the comments about who does what when, just know at the end of the day, it overlaps. It really does overlap. Now we're getting ready to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to go into the sex facilitator type thing. And I want to talk a little bit about pure purple romance. I'm so excited about this. Okay.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So Wayne, we can go ahead and do break now, because I'm ready. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, our special guest today is Deb Maynard. She is a certified sexual education facilitator. I do want to give the disclaimer: if you are just starting to follow us, this particular episode, we are talking about explicit content and explicit things. If that is not your cup of tea, we invite you to join us next week when we have a more tame show. Okay. Also, I want to say we just had our lineup of shows that you saw on during the break. Please download the BWNC app. BWNC radio app. It is free to download. You can hear all of these shows constantly in rotation, plus all the latest music and new artists anytime on the go. So make sure you all are downloading that now. We're going to transition a little bit. And we're going to talk about something else. So listen, if y'all see me blush, just overlook me, because before we started the show, she was already pulling out stuff that I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to know what that is. I want to know what that is. So tell us a little bit first about Pure Purple Romance, what it is. The floor is yours. I'm just going to sip my water for a minute.
So Pure Romance is a company that sells, we do sell adult products. We sell different lubrications. We sell different toys. But we also sell things that are like skincare products. We sell lotions. We sell, for the men, we have shaving cream that we have. The shaving cream is called Coochie. So of course my husband loves to, use it and then say, I have Coochie all over my face. Okay. So yeah, that's where he goes with that. So we also have those. And then we also have like lingerie. So it's a lot of things that are about sexual health, but it's also about women's health and health in general. When you look good, you feel good. So we want to make sure that all the women that use our products feel good, smell good. We do have different, they're not exactly perfumes, they're body sprays that have pheromones in them. So the pheromones help to give you confidence, and they also help to bring some other people to you. So I do see somebody had a party. Yes. We have parties. We book parties at people's homes. I also do virtual parties online where I can like show off different products and talk about different things. I've got my website, which I'll be able to send to you, but it's pureromance.com/Deborah Booth. So no spaces in between. But yeah, and during our parties, we also talk about different sexual health questions that people come up with, because when we get older, there are some issues that occur for both women and men, and so we have different products that help out with those things. But yeah, so we have all kinds of different things.
Which leads me to a question that I have been just dying to ask. What they call it, a burning question. I have a burning question because, as I said in our pre-show conversation, let's talk about the female orgasm, because honestly, sometimes it's confusing for even females, and especially considering, like, unlike a man, every time he is intimate, intercourse, like having intercourse, there is an expected end. And it should be an expected end for females, but let's talk about it. Go ahead, it's all yours.
So for men, I can also say that for men, they don't always have they can have an orgasm that does not produce semen.
Really?
Yes. So
I didn't know that.
Yes. They do have what's called a dry orgasm. So men can have an orgasm and yet not actually produce anything. So it is possible. Yeah.
That's news to me. I was today years old when I found that out.
Right. Yeah. And when they have those, that also means that they don't have a very long recovery. So they can have a dry orgasm and then go right back in and continue on, and then have an orgasm that actually does produce semen and sperm. So
the first one is like shooting blanks.
Kind of.
I know, right? A dry orgasm. That's like, that blows my mind. That's new for me, but I know long time ago, the old people used to say, girl, he can't make babies, he shoot blanks. Have y'all ever heard, y'all have never heard that? Maybe it was
Yeah.
just in my community. Let's talk about the female orgasm
So the
because it's
female
levels.
orgasm.
Yeah, it's levels to it.
So there are actually different kinds of female orgasms. And there are different ways that women can have an orgasm. The first thing I do want to say is the biggest sexual organ on a female is the brain.
That's right.
Because if you are not emotionally involved in what you're doing, it's just not going to happen. If you are not turned on emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what happens to you physically, it's not gonna go anywhere. So
Very
you've
true.
got to be able to be emotionally into what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be stimulated in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And there are different erogenous zones that women have. Breasts are always thought to be like one of the big erogenous zones, but also the middle of your back or the middle between your shoulders is an erogenous zone. Your ears, for
You're like
some
right
people.
here, like this little,
Yeah.
like right in
Yep.
here is like,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. And then there are some people that do not enjoy penetration for an orgasm. Figure out what warms you.
Oh, me and give you worms. I haven't figured out what type of worms they have either, but I've heard that same thing that stay away from those old men. They give you worms.
Well, they could have tapeworms, that
Ew.
you can't get that. I just saying. But anyway, yeah. I wouldn't really go there, but
Right.
yeah.
You have to have a connection.
But yes, that's I can't see your name, but
It says
yeah,
you have to have a connection.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So when you are turned on, when you are feeling frisky, when you are in the mood, then that helps you to be relaxed. And in order to have an orgasm, you have to be able to be relaxed. Now, depending on how relaxed you are, depends on what kind of orgasm you have. So you can have an orgasm that is through vaginal stimulation, which I gotta say that is one of the least likely ones to have. Vaginal stimulation, there's not a whole lot of nerve endings actually inside the vagina, and so it's very it's kind of hit and miss, if you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not usually the actual erogenous zone for a lot of women. It does happen for some, but it's also if you are able to hit just the right area, if you can get just the right angle, you can be able to hit the area that is the G spots, the Grafenberg spots.
Right.
Yes, the higher the level of relaxation, the higher the intensity of orgasm. That is absolutely right. Yes. So if you're able to hit the G spots, then that can help, and that can also help you to be able to have an orgasm that's internal. Most of the time, women have orgasms that are based on external, that are clitoral stimulation, because the clitoris actually has more nerve endings in that one little space of the clitoris than is on the entire penis. There are more nerve endings on that one space, and the clitoris actually goes all the way. If you were to look at the inside, the clitoris actually goes down, and the bottom of the clitoris is where the G spot is on the inside. So by hitting the G spot, you're actually hitting the bottom of the clitoris. So if you hit both of them at the same time, definitely have some
instant ecstasy. I like to think of it as like the stem and piston inside of a flower.
Yes.
Flower, and then you have that little piece that's coming up. The fellas, or whoever you are, fellas, females, that little part, you can't go wrong. You
Yeah.
cannot go wrong. Yeah,
Yes.
especially if you
Yeah.
can, stimulate both inside and out. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm going to stalk you for life. No, it's happening. You're instantly married in the spirit, and I'm coming to find you. I will never leave you alone. So, hasn't happened for me
So,
yet. Not quite yet. Well, I'm kind of lying. It has, but we're going to leave that one alone. We're not going to touch it. We're not stalking him either.
so that leads us into the third type of
Mhm.
orgasm, which is an orgasm where you, as a lot of people say, squirt, where
Yeah.
you are able to actually squirt vaginal fluids out of your vagina. That only happens if you're very relaxed and you're very turned on. So it's, yeah. So if you have not had that happen, then we just need to get you more relaxed and more turned on. And we actually have
Mhm.
pure romance. Let's go back to the pure
Let's go
romance
back
stuff here.
to it. Yeah. Let's
As
come
a part of
on.
the pure romance, we actually have a product called O,
Mhm.
which increases the sensitivity and does exactly what the product means. O gives you increased sensitivity so you can have a stronger orgasm, you can have a more intense orgasm,
Okay.
and it helps women to be able to reach that intense orgasm where you can be able to squirt.
Okay,
So
ladies.
we have a
Hold it up.
product for
Like, do
that.
you have it with you?
I don't have
Yeah,
it
she
to
said like
hold it
those are
up.
like mythical
Oh, I don't.
creatures,
But
right?
it's on my website. Go to my website. You can
Go
see
to the
them.
website. All
But
right. And it
it's
is
a lovely bottle. But yeah.
she said she said that last one, the third one is the mythical creature, Deb. What she
Yes. Yes, it is. Because it's so hard to be so relaxed and
Mhm.
so turned on at the same time. You
Right.
know, it gets really difficult for some people to be able to get to that point. And there are so many women that have never had an orgasm because they just never relaxed enough to be able to have it. And that
Yeah.
comes from having, if you're growing up in a very reserved household
Mhm.
where you're taught that sex is dirty or sex is bad for any reason, you have that
Okay, we're
reservation.
coming to your question.
Oh, what helps with anal? Oh, okay. We also have um, we we have lubrication that is just for the back door.
And let me give you
We
a
do,
tip for that. Listen, and some people may know this, but some people may not know this. If you're going to dive into the world of anal, I learned this from um, one of my gay friends. It's a certain level of prep that needs to take place
yes,
with that. Yes, lube does help.
yes,
Some work too well, and he cautioned me against this. He was like, "So be careful with certain lubes that you use because sometimes it can numb you to the point where you can't tell if a tear is happening or
yes.
something like that is happening, and you won't know until the next day if damage has been done. So you got to really be careful with that." And he also gave me a prep tip for this. If you ever decide this is something you want to do, go get you some enemas. Now, when you're gonna dump the enema solution out of the bottle. You're gonna clean the bottle really, really well because it comes pre-lubed, and then you put warm water only in that, and you go ahead and you clean out the rectum. You're gonna clean the rectum really good, just like you were going to get a colonoscopy prep or some shit. Clean the rectum really good until the water runs as clear as possible. Then, of course, you want to make sure again that you're relaxed, 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 and then get that good lube from Deb. And it's pure purple, it's pureromance.com/Deborah Booth.
Yes.
Okay. You can take
Yep.
care of all of your needs. And we will
Yep.
have the link up when I post this. I'm going to edit it and drop the link into it. So you all will have that available to you. Good question. Thank you. We went there. Ooh.
You did.
All right.
You
So
also
this
have to be careful on what kind of, if you're using condoms, you have to be careful on the type of condom.
Mhm,
So, in my classes, when I told you about, I teach different classes. For
mhm.
my high school class, I have them do this experiment. So I'm going to tell you how to do this. So if you want to do this experiment on your own, so you can figure out how this works. So bubble gum, the cheap bubble gum that you get, that used to,
Mhm.
well, way back when it was five
Bazooka?
cents, but I'm sure like
The
bubble,
bazooka?
hubba bubba bubble
Bubba
gum. Yeah,
bubba. Got
bazooka.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So you get a bubble gum, okay?
Mhm.
Bubble gum has the same consistency as some rubbers, as some condoms.
Hmm.
Yes, yes. So you take bubble gum and you put it in your mouth and you chew it for a while,
Okay.
and then get yourself some creamy peanut butter. Okay,
Okay.
creamy peanut butter.
Okay.
Creamy peanut butter has oils in it that are very similar to the oils that are in some lubrications.
Okay.
Okay. Not my lubrications, however. My lubrications don't have those oils, um, but peanut butter has the same kind of oils, that petroleum jelly kind of
Mhm.
stuff. It's that petroleum.
Mineral
So
oil type thing, like that
yeah,
kind of.
yep,
Okay.
yep. So get yourself a spoonful of creamy peanut butter. Then put that spoonful of peanut butter in your mouth with the gum. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then chew. So you have the bubble gum that is the consistency of a condom, and you have the creamy peanut butter, which has the consistency and the balance, the chemical balance as some of the lubrications, as a petroleum based lubrication.
Oh
And then
wow.
you doing it, so you have friction, you have warmth, and you have the two combined together.
Okay.
Okay, you know what happens with that?
I'm waiting. I'm this is educational. What's gonna happen?
The bubble gum dissolves. It's gone. The bubble gum completely dissolves. So when they say do not use petroleum jelly and um, and a condom, it is because the petroleum jelly, it's not ineffective. Petroleum jelly, friction and warmth, the condom is gone. It
It
dissolves
dissolves
the
it.
condom.
Oh my God. Okay.
Completely dissolves the condom. So do not use petroleum jelly or
And a condom.
petroleum based lubes with a condom, because it will dissolve the condom and it will be gone.
Mind
Yeah,
blown, because this is brand new
yeah,
for me. Brand
yeah.
new for me. Oh my goodness.
So
Y'all
yeah,
throw that petroleum. Just go ahead and throw that Vaseline
right.
tub away.
Yeah, do not use that. Do not use that. That is why we have different kinds of lubrication. We have this one is
Mhm.
a whipped lubrication.
Okay.
The whipped lube is the same consistency as like whipped cream, but it
Mm.
comes in different flavors.
What
And this
flavors?
one is strawberry cheesecake.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We love it.
So, so we have
Oh,
strawberry.
she said, I bet side chicks knew that trick.
Maybe you never know. But yeah, yeah. So you want to
Wow.
use, yeah, you want to use the non-petroleum based lubrications. We have the whipped ones, and then we also have a lubrication that warms up when you put it on, and then you blow, it warms.
Oh wow. Which one
And
is
we
this
have
now?
that is one of our other lubrications that we have. It's a
That
warming
warms up.
lubrication.
Okay, what's warming
And
up here?
and that one, like this one, is a warming lubricant. This one is grape lollipop.
Oh.
So I've got grape lollipop, but on my website, the latest and greatest
Hmm.
is that just came out is caramel latte.
Mm.
So
Where's my
caramel,
notepad? Right.
right,
Right.
right, exactly. So we have caramel latte warming lube on my
Mm.
website. This one is great because purple.
All right. I love
So
it. It was
yes,
something else you showed before the show. It was the cheesecake one,
yes.
that one, and
We got the
something else.
cheesecake one, And then I also have this other one that's a warming lube that is cotton candy flavored.
Okay.
We have a cotton candy warming lube.
Cotton
And then
candy warming lube.
cotton candy.
Ooh.
And then we also have a water-based lubrication. The
Okay.
water-based lubes are really good for use with toys
Okay.
because that way it works a little better with toys. The whipped ones work pretty well with the toys.
Okay.
And then we also have the warming ones and toys, not so
Mm-mm.
much because it's warming the toy. It's not doing anything for you. So,
Right.
so right. But we also have, see, you like purple for different
Mhm.
reasons. Mhm.
Right. We love it.
Okay. But we also have, with all those different products, we have a lubrication. Oh, yes, I do. I do have a rainbow butt plug.
You will remember
a-
that one.
I have a rainbow colored butt plug. Yes, I do.
All
For
right.
those.
So listen, for those who may not know what this is, okay, Randy Glover says, sell this to star athletes so they can protect themselves. LOL. Very true. Let's talk about this butt plug. Do you all know? Does everyone knows what that's for, Ray? Explain its purpose because some people may not know why would I use that if I'm having vaginal intercourse? Like, why would I?
So there are a lot of nerve endings in the anus. A
Yes.
lot of nerve endings. But I also caution that and your anus does not self-lubricate. Your vagina lubricates, but the anus does not self-lubricate. And if it is, go see a doctor, honey. But other than that, so there's a lot of different there are a lot of different nerve endings.
Mm.
So it is designed because it's small, and then it just gets bigger, and then it's very like small. I should probably let me take it out of the package. I can use
Well, while
this.
you're doing that, let me sing a little ditty. Plugs. How many of us have them? Plugs. Ones we can depend on. We got plugs.
That's
You're
great.
welcome. You're welcome, y'all. Thank you.
So these are really good to use for anal stimulation because they start out small at the end, and then they get bigger, as you can see. And then there is this small little area here with a handle, so you can be able to not lose it.
Right.
Because there are muscles in your anus that will just pull that right out up there, and you're going to be one of those sex sent me to the ER cases.
Very true. And I've heard nurses tell stories about people who have gotten things stuck up in there.
Yes. Yes.
One particular was a Coke bottle. Another
Oh,
was a gerbil.
oh
Be
my goodness.
careful.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. See, now you're getting to the bestiality thing. Not my cup of tea.
Oh no, that was that was years ago. And then when I heard the story, I was like, that is very strange. First of all, Coke bottle is strange, but that's
Yeah.
understandable. I see the thinking there.
Yeah.
The gerbil had to be explained because apparently it's a fetish. It's a fetish, you guys, where now listen, I do not condone any of this with this example that I'm sharing. So listen, okay. So the thing is if you were into this particular fetish, you had a tube that's fashioned to go in the rectum, and they lube it up, and then they put this live mouse or a gerbil inside of there, and it struggles to get out, of course. But the idea is to stimulate the prostrate to produce an orgasm. Well, if the little thing, the string gets untied, you see, this is what brought it to mind. The butt plug has the flat back, so it doesn't
Yeah.
get sucked in. Well, the little thing, unfortunately, in this case, the string come loose from the tail,
Oh my
and
God.
there it got lost, and so had to go to the ER to be removed. Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
be careful out here. A tube, lube, and a gerbil sounds like a bad joke. It really does sound like a bad joke.
Ooh, yep.
Hell no. No, right? No. Am I kidding? Yeah, I'll pass. That's not
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
And of course, now the guy's name was not revealed, so he gets to keep his anonymity.
There you go.
Okay. And this happened years and years ago. And then let me tell you, when stuff happened in a small town, that's kind of really bad. So plugs are like jewelry. Show your person who you really care.
There you
Uh,
go.
please know your partner well, and please, by all means, use protection. Okay.
And
So
there's
here I
a
want to go ahead.
rainbow, for
I
pride.
love that one. I love the rainbow. So listen, we're gonna switch gears. I want to ask another question before we
Okay.
go to our next break. All right.
Before we
So
do,
as
I have
go ahead, go
one
ahead.
more thing one more lubrication I want to tell you about.
Oh
We have a
yeah.
lubrication that has CBD oil in it. So if you are, um, if you are of the persuasion where you have lots of tears that happen and you need to like, and it hurts too much
Mhm.
to be intimate with your partner, we
Mhm.
have a CBD lubrication that helps to kind of, I don't want to say numb because you still have feelings, you still have all the senses, but it helps to reduce the pain.
Oh
So
wow.
yes,
That's
so it's
neat.
yeah,
Put that one
so
on my list.
yep, put that on your list too. Okay, now we can
Cool.
go to the next one.
All right. So my question was, you as a certified sexual education therapist, what would you recommend, especially as we get older? Sometimes we're not as limber as we were back in our 20s. We could jump off the ceiling and swing from the ceiling fan and all this stuff. So what's like a good position if you are older, but you want to get the maximum pleasure without killing yourself? Like, I don't want you to bend me into a pretzel because I can't breathe up in this area right here after so long. Like, it's just certain things so what would you recommend? Because that one there, that
Right.
whole bit me in the process, that shit is over. Do not do that.
Well, it all depends
Mhm.
on if you want shallow penetration that might be able to hit the G spot,
Okay.
or if you want deeper penetration that then will rub up against the top of your vagina and
Okay.
might hit the G spot, but also gives you like deeper penetration.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
it depends on which one you want. So if you want more shallow penetration, um,
I can't breathe, girl. I'll be needing some oxygen. She said, pray for me, baby.
so the shallow penetration is actually the missionary position where the
Okay.
guys on top and the girls. So that's actually the more shallow that you
Okay.
can get. Um, you can get deeper penetration with the woman on top sitting down, like the horse or the reverse
Okay.
cowboy or
Okay.
reverse cowgirl, because
Got
girls.
it. Okay.
Yeah. And then you also can get even deeper penetration with the doggy style, where the woman is on all fours and the man is behind her.
Okay.
Um, but if you want to be able to get deep penetration as well as getting closer to that G spot orgasm,
Mhm.
um, okay, I'm assuming that you probably don't have one of those
Swing
swings
thing.
that you can hang up on your door, which we do have those at Pure Romance if you want
I
to look
currently
at
don't need one, but yes, anyway.
them.
Okay, got
but
it.
but if you don't want to go there, um, put a bunch of pillows, like put your knees on a bunch of
Mhm.
pillows so that you're up higher,
She had a
so that you're
swing.
more at an angle instead of like straight
Mhm.
across, you're more of an angle. Um, but make sure that if you're going to be putting pillows, he's probably going to need some pillows too.
I love her. It took her. She needs another one
so, because you want him to be able to go at an angle down,
later.
because yes, because if you're going in at a downward angle from
Mhm.
behind, then you're getting deep penetration and you're getting penetration that goes right um, brushes against the G spot at the same time.
Wow. Yes, indeed. We love it. Now I did see this new contraption. It was like so like the it's I just saw it and I'm trying to explain what I saw. Okay, so it's the guy is laying down on his back, and it's like a contraption that's like if say if you're going to be on top, like in the whole cowgirl position, it's this
Hmm.
thing that sits on top of him, and it's like a swing, but not a swing because you could put it on the bed, and it
Okay,
allows her to go like it allows her to really get that
grip.
deep penetration. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just saw that contraption and I was like, what is that? So
Yeah.
I was doing the whole spin around things, you know how you could do the 360. I was spinning that sucker like, what is this? Oh, what's the question? Go ahead. What's your question?
Oh, yes. And we do have those, what you were just talking about.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
thing that, yeah, that kind of goes underneath of him and gives you like things to hold on to. So you can just,
Right.
yeah. So you literally are a cowgirl. You got something to hold on to at the same time. Yeah.
She said, Nellie said, see, now the men need to stop complaining about how many pillows we got on the bed. Those pillows come in handy.
That's right. That's right. And like
Okay.
I'm doing this so that I get a better position, so
That's
we
right.
get a better angle. It's for me. Yeah.
That's right. And here, and this, I will say this while we're waiting on that, I can't pronounce her name to type her question in here. I believe that intimacy, intercourse is really, it's fun. It's one of the things I love to do as an adult for fun. That's one of my favorite freaking things to do. We should really come into that atmosphere with that expectation in mind. Okay, so her question is, what about the yoga chairs that they sell for more leverage? Is that what it's called? A yoga chair? Or is
Um,
that something different?
the ones on ours aren't called that, but I'm sure that if you got leverage, you know, they have those balls that the big rubber balls that are good
Mhm.
for your back and
Oh,
help with things.
balance balls.
Balance ball, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
You can use those things. You know what? A lot of times it's just a matter of, yeah, it's really a sex chair. There you go. Yeah. Um, it's all about what feels good to you. It's all about what you get your best comfortable position in, you know, explore, try different things,
Ooh.
just
I love
go
it. So
wild.
they just camouflage it as a yoga chair. Awesome. So listen, this is an exciting conversation because we skipped our break. So we're gonna pause. We're 2 minutes past break time. We're gonna pause. We're gonna go to break, and then we're coming right back to this conversation because this is good. And thank you so much for the comments. Okay, Wayne, take us to our break. All right, so we are back. Thank you all for joining us. If you've been with us the whole time, thank you so much. So, are we rolling on the ball? Hey, it's all about
Lean
fun and
over the
pleasure. You could,
ball.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You can lean over the ball. You can bounce on the ball. Yeah.
You know what would be really fun on that ball? Like to do on all fours on the ball,
Hmm. Yep.
doggy style
Yep.
on the ball. All right, so I'm gonna say Nomi. I'm gonna call her the end of half of her name. Nomi says, I found a chair that I want on Amazon. It comes with the built-in cuffs for the arms and the legs. Do y'all have something like that?
There, we do not
Okay, you
have
have to
something
go to
like that.
Amazon for that one. Oh my goodness. I didn't think Amazon sold anything like that. But before we get into this, hold on. I have to give our shout outs to our shows that are on BWNC Radio. Please download the app. Yeah, y'all gonna keep hearing me say that because it's free and you support all of the content that's coming out of I Am Well Media Group. So please do that. If you're just joining, our guest is Deb Maynard, and we were just talking about all this different lovely stuff. And she said she's gonna go get her a chair on Amazon. I didn't even know Amazon sold stuff like that, but I guess Amazon sells everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Amazon does it all. Don't sleep on them. Apparently, I had to let them go about a year ago because I was spending too much money at the Amazon shop. Get
Yep.
everything from Amazon. They come in 2 days. They working somebody to death. I know that. Uh, anyway, so I do want you to educate us on something else. And if y'all have questions about anything we just talked about, please by all means keep dropping them. We're gonna come right back to your questions. But I do want you to clarify something for us because a lot of us are still confused, especially if we grew up in the 90s. If we are Generation X, we are really confused on all of the labels that are out today, all of the sexual orientations that are out there. Because back when we were young, you were either straight or you were gay. You were either male or you were female. So, uh, what's an easy way for us to remember what's what? Okay,
Oh,
in the
there.
LGBTQ plus IA plus, all the alphabets.
The alphabet. The whole alphabet thing. So yeah, I totally get that. So there is lesbian,
Right.
gay, bisexual. Okay. So in the late 80s, early 90s, I came out as bisexual
Okay.
because that was all that we knew. We knew of lesbian, gay, or bisexual. You either like one, like the other, or like them both.
Right.
That was it. You know, that was as far as it went. But then as as we have progressed and as people have
Right.
been more open and they come up with different terminology that is helping people to find a label that matches how they feel.
Right.
Um, and a lot of you, they're especially the younger folks right now, they're like, why do we have to have a label? Well,
Right.
that's
They are into that.
because you have to have a label in order for people to know what you're talking about. If you
Right.
have if you have a bottle of water and um, and you don't know, like, okay, so I have a glass of water.
Mhm.
Okay, um, in order for people to know what's in the glass, you have to have a label for it. Everybody knows what water is,
Right.
so that way we all are on the same page. If I said that what's in the glass is soup, um, then then everybody's thinking that it's something else, but then you take a drink of it and you're like, this isn't soup, this is water. So
Right.
you have to have a label so that everybody can be on the same page and understand the same things. With
Very
that
true.
being said, it's difficult to be able to do that because there's so many different labels, you know. Um, there's heterosexual, there's
Mhm.
bisexual, there's also asexual, people
Yep.
that are not interested in being involved with anybody. Um, then there's also queer, which is a term used that kind of just because is that umbrella term when we're talking about how pagan is an umbrella term,
Right.
queer is an umbrella term. Um, but there's also pansexual.
Right.
Yep. So pansexual. There's also demisexual.
Mm.
There's all kinds of different things. Pansexual is where you are attracted to somebody not based on their gender, but
Mhm.
based on who they are as a person.
Right.
And so when that came out, I'm like, well, I would really go more as being pansexual because
Mhm.
I don't base my attraction on what what gender they are.
Right.
But because I went so long under that terminology of bisexual, I'm like,
Mhm.
I might as well just stick with it,
Right.
you know. But that's pansexual is more of that generic term of everything. Mhm.
Okay. I like this. I like this statement. She says, I've had a few women approach me, but I thought they could tell who rides their boat. I'm very much heterosexual. I think though sometimes we tend more to be in our masculine energy or feminine energy, depending on your mood that day, because energy fluctuates. Because I get that too sometimes. I
Mhm.
am definitely cisgender, heterosexual, but I know me, I am very balanced. And sometimes I walk very strongly in my masculine energy. I get it. So I
Yeah.
get when women say, I've actually had people ask me flat out, like, what are you? I'm Cheryl, is what I am. I'm Cheryl.
Okay.
But if you're asking me what I prefer, I definitely prefer men, you know. But it just
Mhm.
depends. It's probably your energy. You just we are a lot of us are raised to be in this power position, in this hustle position, in this masculine energy. That's one of the reasons I think a lot of us cannot achieve orgasm, because we're taught to stay in a constant mode of hustle. So we're not able to allow ourselves to relax enough to be feminine around a man, because we feel like that may put us in a weakened perspective on his part, and then we get taken advantage of. So we don't allow ourselves to relax enough. Um, so it's only recently in my advanced age, at this big age that I am, that I've really come to understand being relaxed, really, really relaxed. My energy is feminine though. I'm a girl Damon. Well,
Yeah.
you never know. Maybe that was attracting some of those other energies out there
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
thought you moved that way.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I would have been called a lipstick lesbian because I present very feminine. I have nail polish, I have makeup, I present very feminine, but I'm attracted to both
Male and female.
men.
And you're
Yeah.
right, Brandy. It could be the trust level with that particular man. The older I get, the more I'm in that stage where if I don't completely trust you, you're not even getting past hello. We're not. I mean, it's just it ain't too many conversations we about to continue to have if I don't trust you and I don't feel safe with you. Those
Mm.
are off top now. I don't care how good you look, or none of that stuff. If your demeanor and energy doesn't line up with what you're saying, yeah, that trust goes out the window. No, we're not doing anything. But you're right. I think that has a lot to do with it. I like that she says she's a female diamond. That's cool. I like that. But you're right. You're really, really, you really walk in your feminine energy very well. Me, I fluctuate. I mean, I'm pretty balanced, but sometimes I'm really, really on that masculine side. Even like in the way I think, which is a little off-putting for some people. So I
You're
get
just
it.
a strong, feminine woman.
Very much
Yeah.
so. Like very much so. So yeah. But you're right. So where was we? Okay, we got the pansexual.
Okay.
Mhm.
Demisexual.
Okay.
That's another one. So demisexual is that you have to be have a strong emotional attachment to someone in order to be physically intimate with them. And I
Okay.
heard about that, and I heard demisexual, and I'm like, well, I think everybody should have a
Yeah.
strong emotional attraction before you're intimate with them. And then they said, well, what about these one night stands?
True.
Okay, you're right. You're right. No judging. You're
Right.
absolutely right. So I can't say that everybody should be demisexual because sometimes, there people want a one night stand. People are interested in not getting in an emotional commitment. They're enough as who they are. They're like, I don't need a man to get in my way.
Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it's not even intended. I mean, you could be drinking, and I honestly say that liquor is called spirits for a reason.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So when you get liquor in you, you're going to get loose as a goose, and you may have a one night stand. But here's the thing: you're still kind of demisexual because there is some emotional attachment there for you to even go that far with the person. You have some kind of connection with that person, even in an inebriated state. So I think to some degree, everybody's demisexual. I always say we're always on this. All of us are on the spectrum to some degree.
Yes.
All of us are
Yes.
on that spectrum to some degree, and then we have the different things like people are cisgender, or
Yeah.
they're non-binary, which I honestly don't understand the non-binary one
Okay.
at
So
all. You know,
you are very cisgendered. I am very cisgendered. I am female, I present
Mhm.
female. I have um female genitalia and I think like a woman. I'm very
Right.
emotional, you know. I have female thoughts. I'm very
Right.
emotional. I talk a lot. It's one of those things.
Right.
Um, but then non-binary is what people that are non-binary, they don't want to be seen, they don't want to follow any gender stereotypes. You know,
Got it.
the makeup, the clothing, they don't want to follow specific stereotypes. Like my kids, when they were growing up, that whole boys wear blue, girls wear pink,
Mhm.
not in my house. You wear
Got
whatever
it.
you want to wear, you know.
Mhm.
If you want to wear a skirt, you wear a skirt. If you want to wear pants, you wear pants. It doesn't matter if you have a penis or a vagina, whatever you feel like wearing, you wear it, you
Got it.
know. And it's that whole idea of they don't want to follow these rigid gender stereotypes of this is what a woman should look like, this is what a man should look like. It's I'm gonna fall wherever I want to fall. You know, one day I want to wear a woman's clothes, one day I want to wear men's clothes,
Oh,
kind
that
of thing.
question, Wayne. Uh-huh. I agree with that. We're going to pause. What's this question say? It says, "Why do some people deny the existence of emotions during sex?"
Oh, oh.
I'm gonna let you go first, Dale, but you know I'm diving in on this question.
so so that brings my counseling side in. Um, so there are some. I'll back up a little bit. So I am married to a man,
Mhm.
third marriage.
Okay.
Okay, third marriage. Took me a little bit to get to the third marriage. um, but when I was married to my second husband, my first husband,
Mhm.
um, I got married when I was in college, young, 20 years old, kind of stupid, naive.
I
Um,
know. I've been there.
yeah, yeah. And we got married. We were both at college, and he went to school full time, and
Mhm.
I got back and went to school part time and worked full time. And I took out student loans for me, but I also took out student loans in my name to
Mm.
help pay for him to go to school.
Okay.
Okay, based on the fact that once he graduated,
Mhm.
then he would then make money, and I would then go to school full time,
Right.
and then I would be able to graduate.
Okay.
You always hear about those people that um, that use you to get a degree, and then once they got a degree, they run away, and you hear about that. You never think that that's going to happen to you.
Right.
Well, that happened to me. So yeah, he October 15th. Not that I would remember that. It was a Wednesday at 7:30 at night. Not that I would remember that at all. But Wednesday night, 7:30, October 15th. Um, he said, we need to talk. And I'm a communications major. Talk is good. Yes,
That's
let's
right.
talk.
I
Let's
agree.
talk. And he said, yeah, I don't love you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I can't stand your voice. Every time that you walk into a room, I stop having fun. He's like, I stopped loving you like a couple months into the relationship, but I just need you to get through school. So I'm graduating this December. I don't need you anymore. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Damn. That's
No.
cold. That's cold hearted right there.
Yeah, yeah. And I grabbed his hand and I'm like, no, we need to talk. And he pulled his hand away, punched me in the face, and said, "You want to talk? Get a lawyer." And he walked out. So,
Oh
um,
my goodness. That's definitely no emotion. What the
right, right. Um, and at the time, I'm also polyamorous, lots of things.
okay.
So at the time, I also had a girlfriend, and my girlfriend came over
Mm-hmm.
at the next day. She's like, I am here for you. I love you. I will take care of you. I will be here for you.
I know. Wow.
And a week later, she moved in with him.
What?
She was only seeing me.
Oh,
Yeah. She was only seeing me
this
to
is
get to
like
him.
out of a soap opera.
So,
This is like,
right.
this is real life. Oh my
This is
God.
this, this is my life. This is my life. So yeah. So when that happened, um, I was very afraid of
Mhm.
relationships. I did not want to be emotionally involved with
Right.
anybody. I was done.
That's
I didn't want.
understandable.
WTF. I was like, women, I don't want women, I don't want men that all just fight. I just forget it,
Right.
forget it. So it took a while for me to be able to allow myself to be
Hmm.
emotionally involved with somebody. And
Okay.
so when it talks about, you know, why do some people deny the existence of emotions during sex? It's because they don't want to get hurt.
I believe
It's
that.
really
Mhm.
that simple. They don't want to get hurt.
And
And
they've been hurt
so,
so bad before, like in your,
yeah,
wow.
yeah,
Ooh. But here's the
yeah,
thing. I agree with that, that they deny the existence of emotions during sex because they don't want to get hurt. But that's just a surface level answer because you feel regardless. You feel regardless. If you're having the physical act, you feel something. And if you
yeah,
feel something, even if it's pleasure, that pleasure is going to light up every dopamine in your body and all of your endorphins. You feel during sex,
mhm,
regardless if you say you do or not. I can understand protecting your heart. So I think what
mhm,
people do is during the actual act, what they do is they compartmentalize, right?
yes,
You
yes,
compartmentalize in your mind. You say, I'm going to enjoy the pleasure of it, the physical part of this, but I'm going to deny any other type of emotional connection to this person because I'm not going to allow them to hurt me like I've been hurt in the past, which is
yeah,
triggering for all of us. That just shows we need to heal from
yes,
stuff like that. But I think that's the reason why, like you said, people don't want to get hurt. But at the end of the day, we all feel regardless. It's part of the makeup of being a human. We're
yeah,
not AI, we're not droids, we're 100% organic human beings. We come with emotions. It's built into us, whether you're a male or female, whether you were taught to be macho and never cry. Internally, psychologically, mentally, you know what you feel, whether you never express that openly with a person or not. So people can deny it all they want. The truth of the matter is, you feel. Everyone does. And I'm sorry, Deb, you went through that, but you wouldn't be the strong person that's sitting on this panel with us today had you not gone through that and learned those lessons.
right,
And as you all heard her say, she is in a polyamorous relationship. And a lot of us do not know people who have any type of relationship like this. I happen to know you, and I happen to have some close friends that I've met in the last couple of years since I've been on my own journey out here in singledom, and they are indeed in a polyamorous relationship, and they communicate more openly and honestly with each other than I've seen some couples do that have been in a relationship. With just the two of those for a long time. And honestly, I'm trying to think if I noticed any insecurities. Nothing that they weren't willing to talk about amongst the three that were in the relationship that I know about that are in it's present tense. They have to sit down and talk about that with each other. So how does that work in your dynamic?
So the biggest thing in any kind of polyamorous relationship is communication.
Mhm.
Communication, honesty, consent, um, and respect. That is really the biggest thing. So I am married. I've been with my husband. We got together about 7 years ago,
Okay.
and we've been married now for 3 years. Um,
Congratulations.
so and he's amazing, and I love him to death. And he's just he's awesome. And then I also have a girlfriend, and
Okay.
she gets me. She's just yeah. It's just that closeness, that
Mm.
girl, the you that you don't really get unless you're with another woman. My
She
husband
said it might
is
be time for her to head on out. Stick around. We don't have that much longer. Stick around. Stick around on me.
totally yeah. So my husband is gender fluid.
Hmm.
So he is male. He presents as male, but he's also very emotional,
Got it.
and he communicates so much.
Hold on. We're going to
Um,
address that. So hold on. Don't leave out. Just hold on. Go ahead, Deb.
but my girlfriend, there's just things that you don't really share with men.
Right.
Like you don't have the same emotional connection with men that you do with women.
Hmm.
And even my female friends, it's
Hmm.
a different dynamic than it is with my girlfriend than it is with my husband.
Right.
Um, so my relationship with my girlfriend is just the two of us. And then my relationship with my husband is just the two of us. And my husband and my girlfriend are friends, but they are not together.
Got
So
it.
there are triads where everybody's with everybody, and
Hmm.
that's not where we are, where it's just individual.
Oh, cool.
So
And I think that's the beauty of it. So, and I'm calling you Nami because I can't say your entire name. So I'm just using the second half of it. Nami. So I completely get that. That's why everyone's in situations are dynamic to each other. If you prefer, and we already had this conversation, you are a cisgender, which means you're a female, you recognize you're a female, you got female body parts, you're emotional, you love being a female, you stand in that power, and you prefer men, one man at a time. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That is the traditional way life works. That's how we procreate. Okay. So by all means, don't take that. This is we just giving you information. Just giving you information so you'll know the difference about how different relationships work because we're all built differently. I have like I was telling you about the friends down here, it's three of them collectively in that relationship together. I have another friend group of another friends that are married. They're a couple, and they decide, the two of them, who comes into their space. It's private. It's not something that's announced to the world. It is their own private relationship, how they have it set up and what works for them. On the I Am Woe podcast last night, they touched on this a little bit, and it was saying they said that it doesn't matter if you're doing what you do within your relationship that makes you and your partner happy, then that's all that matters. Because a lot of times we can't base our relationships on past relationships, on our parents' relationships, on what society says it should be. The beauty of a relationship is we make it what we want it to be. And if you're with that one person, that's your one person. You don't have to share them with a thing. Just make sure he knows that too.
right, exactly.
Sometimes they be acting like,
Yeah, make
right.
sure
Thank you. I definitely get, just make sure they know that too.
he
Okay,
knows
so
that.
I am well
So yeah,
said.
it's um
One more question, which is how it should be, even when it's just the two of you. Your business is your business, right? And we're
yep.
and Deb, I'm asking her to share just for informational purposes, so we can have um a more open dialogue and be accepting of other people's dynamics in their relationship. Not to say this is how anyone should live their lives on
Right.
anything that we've talked about, even though what we've discussed has been so interesting the entire show. But hopefully everyone found something that resonated with them that you can take away. I've learned some things myself today. Let me tell you. This show, by the way, living your life, if you've been in a breakup, life after divorce, the whole point of All Things Undone podcast is to teach people how to live in their authentic truth, their authentic selves, whatever that looks like for each individual. Um, we live such free lives when we're able to recognize who we are and when we're able to walk in that truth. And you don't have to worry about what mama says, what daddy says, what the community has to say, because you know in your heart that you are true to yourself and to God. For those of you who believe in God, I 100% do. I give him praise all day, every day. I do. Um, so I just do it differently than a traditional church setting. But I do praise God all the time. So it just depends on what works for you. Now, do people still judge? Yes. Do people try to get their opinions? Well, they can try all they want to. It doesn't change my reality any. It doesn't change Deb's reality any. Okay. But, and that's what I want the takeaway to be for everyone, to find what works for you, your truth, your authenticity. Um, but Sharon brought this up last week, and she kind of flat out asked Deb, and I didn't. I was like, okay, we're going there. Deb had put a comment up about her relationship, and then Sharon was like, I love it. Tell them mind their business, right? Sharon was like, so do y'all have threesomes? And I was like, oh my God. I said that in my head. I did not say that out loud. I was like, yeah, do you want to answer? And to my surprise, Deb
I've had threesomes. Not with my husband and current girlfriend, but I've had them. Yeah, it's fun. Again, everybody has to know what's going on. Everybody has to be open communication. Otherwise, it's cheating. We don't want to cheat. We want everybody to be honest. Everybody to know what's happening with whoever we're with. And it's just like with polyamory, I explain it in that I have 3 kids. Mm-hmm. So I love all 3 of my kids. I love them all dearly, but I do not love them the same, because they are not the same. Right. They have very different personalities, but I love them all. It's the same way. I love my husband, I love my girlfriend, but I don't love them in the same way because they're not the same. So it's just a matter of loving more than one person.
Right. And Sharon said that too in the snippet that I put up of her show, Preacher's Exes. She said that at this age in life, she is open to, well, maybe not for her particular, but she can understand how people are in polyamorous relationships, because emotionally I may be attracted to one person who can meet that need, and then physically someone else who can meet that need. So she understands why we connect to different people. Again, we are energy, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay, so we connect to different people. Why do you think you're attracted to more than one person? Because your spirit is attracted to their spirit. So it's like you're reaching out, your soul is reaching out for something that maybe physically you may not understand. I'm going to put it to you this way. I've met people throughout my life that I connected with spiritually, energetically. You can feel it. You can feel that bond when you connect with somebody. Some people call it a soul tie, but not this. This is different. I met a person, and when I met this person, the first date we had, free spirited, thank you. The very first date we had, my mind said, not me, my spirit said, starting at now. I was like, what the fuck? Because what? So anyway, we're having the date, and it was literally we were watching a sports game or whatever. So we're sitting there, and he asked me to give him a massage, and I was like, it's kind of an odd request for a first date, but you know what? Like, it was literally a vibe. I was like, you know what? Cool, yeah, let's do this. So I'm giving him a massage, and it was literally just a shoulder massage, not anything freaky, just a massage. We're watching the game, and I found myself just relaxing so much. And my mind said, my soul said, it was weird. It was like, it didn't say anything. I got the image of a reflection is what I got. I was like, okay, that's different. So it was a reflection. I was like, that's different. So I'm rubbing this guy, and then not me, my spirit literally said, like, this is your spiritual spouse. I almost jumped up off the bed and run up out of there because I knew it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't my thoughts. And then I realized my soul recognizes what belongs to it. My soul recognizes that the soul that's in this human being is some soul spirit energy that it connected with previous to coming to earth. And I know that sounds absolutely bananas. When I tell you my spirit was speaking to me separate from my physical me, I am not lying to you. Even to this day, I can feel that man like no other person I have ever felt in this entire earth. And I believe even if we never speak another day in life, my spirit and his spirit knows there is something here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And because it was so strong, it made me want to run away, far away. Because why is my mind talking to my mind? Does that make sense? Why is my mind talking to? That's how I knew, like, on this spiritual journey. That's what made me really start to wake up and say, okay, yeah, the Bible is the Bible. Now I understand on a spiritual plane what the scriptures are talking about, where I didn't understand it before. Okay, a beautiful connection. Everybody about that, everybody's about that connection. Everything about that connection was organic. It's very organic. It's and because I didn't understand what was happening, I was like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain this. So it's been, I haven't talked to many people about it because who would believe me? Who would believe that type of energetic connection? So that made me really understand we have more than one soulmates, because then I started thinking about, back about other people that I connected with in the past, how we connected. Like it started making sense. It started coming together. So I don't know where I was going with that, but yes, we connect to different people. That's what I was going with that. We connect to different people. So I can understand how people are polyamorous. I can understand how even other cultures where they have more than one spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually saw a video on Instagram, and it was I think she was Hindu, and she was saying that yes, she allows her husband to have concubines, and she was like, "You all call them side chicks or whatever." She said, "But in our relationship, in our culture, they understand he's the protector, he's the provider. It takes the pressure off of her. She's going to be provided for regardless, right?" Um, Pop that comment back up for a minute. I didn't see it. It's almost the feeling of knowing that person in another life. Yes, that. It was just like that. It was like this person, I met him before, and not just once. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime is what my spirit said to me. This person you've known, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime you've known. And I'm like, wow, that's so deep. Now I gotta, okay, spirituality, how I knew it is not what it is. Let me go and educate myself. So
Right.
yeah, different
Yeah.
soulmates. I'm telling you, and I completely understand your dynamic.
Yep.
And so I thank you so much for being on the show. What else did I tell you I wanted to talk about? I think we done hit every point.
I
We
can
done
go
hit-
deeper into a lot of different things, but we could, this is, I think we touched on everything though, I think.
I think we touched on a little bit of everything. We
Yeah.
did. And I think it's a good place to end it. Thank you all in the comments. We appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have made this worthwhile. All the questions that you have put in and the comments, thank you. We are going to have the link to purpleromance.com/ Deborah Booth in the link to this show, and you'll see it tomorrow and the next day and the next day as I run the promos for the show, as well as the producer Wayne at I Am Well Media Group. Listen, thank you all for joining. Please download the BWNC Radio app. It is free. You can listen to it on the go. This episode will be on all streaming platforms starting Wednesday morning. And that's it. Do you have any parting words, Deb?
Just if you are on Facebook and you want to get a preview of some of the deals that I have on the Pure Romance website, I have a Facebook. I have a secret. It's so that other people don't know who else is going to be on it. Just in case you don't want your mother-in-law to know that you're part of a Pure Romance website.
Right.
I do have a group. It's Pure Purple Romance, but you can look me up. I think my face is on the Facebook page, but look me up on Facebook, and I can get you added into that group, and then you can get all the deals that I have that come up. And I share different things about health, different things about your body, just all kinds of different things. Because again, Pure Romance is not just about all of our products, but it's also about feeling good in the body that you're in. And so we want to help you in all different ways. So
thank you so much. We're going to have all those links up for sure, so you all be able to get in contact with her. Thank you so much, Deb. Thank you, audience, for watching. God bless you all. Okay, Wayne, I think we're ready. You can take us out.